running you through on how to configure SSH on a Cisco router. Now, a brief intro on SSH. SSH is a secure management protocol that allows system administrators or network engineers manage a device remotely via a secure tunnel. Now, SSH runs on TCP port 22, and it's a secure management protocol, just like I've said. So it allows the secure tunnel is established between the two devices, and traffic between them is encrypted via that tunnel. So without wasting much of your time, I will just run you through my basic topology. So I have a Cisco router as well as a virtual switch and a remote PC to test our SSH connection. So I'll run you through setting up basic configuration on the Cisco router, thus assigning an interface a management IP address so that we can use that IP address to establish an SSH session to the device. So my router is assumed to be out of the box, so I'll just set it up while we wait for the interfaces to come up. So I have my router up right now. So as you can see, there's my banner message, and this router is just out of the box. So I'll just go ahead and activate my interface gigabit 0/0 with the IP address on as displayed on my topology. So interface gigabit 0/0, IP address 10.10.10.1 with the subnet mask of /24. No shutdown to activate the interface. So show IP interface brief verifies that our interface is functional. So the first thing we need to do when setting up SSH is to assign a host name. So say host name, let's say lab-r1, and the next thing is to set up a domain name. Setting up a domain name, it's very important. It's one of the major criteria for setting up SSH. So in this case, our IP domain name would be threatenacademy.com. So that will be our domain name. And the next thing is to generate our SSH keys. Now, because this router is out of the box, it doesn't mean it doesn't have SSH keys. So some come with SSH keys. The recent routers like iOS XEs, they come with predefined SSH keys. So it's better to either use those SSH keys or usuarize the SSH keys and generate your own. So in this case, we're just going to generate our SSH keys. So crypto crypto key generate RSA modulus 1024. Yeah, so this generate my SSH keys, and you can see that by default, once I have this, SSH is enabled, and this is SSH is enabled by default once I generate my crypto keys. So with this, I already have SSH functioning, but I also want to create like a local database which I would use for proper authentication when remotely accessing this device. So to do that, I'll create a local database with the credentials admin with a privilege of 15, which is the highest privilege, and the secret password of Cisco at 123. Now with this, I can now tie it to my VTY line. So let's do that together. line VTY, line VTY 0 to 4, which means I would have 5 concurrent sessions on this router from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with this, I would say transport input, I can say allow all protocols. But in this case, we are concentrating on just SSH. So with this command, only SSH connections will be allowed remotely to access this router via remote management. So with this, I say SSH, and to reference the username and password we created initially, I'm going to say login local. So with this, if we scroll a bit up, I have referenced exactly this username and password by issuing the command login local on the line VTY. So I'll go ahead quickly and save my configuration, and let's jump to our test PC. So I'll quickly open up our test PC and let's verify the IP address we have on our test PC. So I bring up my command prompt and I say ipconfig. So currently we have system generated address, which is the 169, and this shows us that we are not on the same network with our router. So I'll quickly go ahead and assign this PC a .100 on the same subnet with our router, which is 10.10.10.100 with a /24-bit mask with a gateway of 10.10.10.1. Quick verification on the command line ipconfig. So there's our IP address, and let's ping the gateway 10.10.10.1. Yes, we have full connectivity. Verified. So I have an application which is PuTTY, which can be used to remotely access the router. So in this case, I'll just try to change the font to 14 so that it will be visible, and I can now establish my SSH session by entering the IP address of the remote device I want to establish the connection to. So with this, it prompts me to accept the key. So I can decide to accept, but if I don't accept, that means communication within them will not be, they wouldn't agree, to encrypt traffic on the tunnel. So with this, traffic from my PC to the router is encrypted, and as well as traffic from the router to the test PC, the admin PC in this case, is encrypted. And I'm going to show you that with some show commands. So we say yes, and we all remember our username, which is what? Admin, and our password, which is Cisco at 123. Oh, denied. So I think our username is wrong. I think we made a mistake with our username. So let's end the session and establish a new session. But before then, let's verify our username. Okay, admin. Oh, there is a mistake in the password. So CISO. So you see, that's troubleshooting as well. So you need to be sure of your passwords when you're typing. So let's do this again. 10.10.10.1. So username is admin. Password is CISO at 123. And that's it. So when we say show, let's do some verification commands from the PC. Let's say show SSH, And if you notice, you see I have two concurrent connections, two tunnels. So this is SSH version 2. The mode in is using this encryption, and username is admin. Likewise out, same credentials, and it shows you that this is actually SSH version 2 with the version, and there's no version 1 running. So it means that traffic between the router and the PC, it's encrypted. So we can further modify our configurations by running the following, by modifying SSH with the following commands. So IP SSH, we can hard code it to a version 2, and as well IP SSH authentication retries. So the number of times you are allowed to try a login credential. So I would say 1 time or 2 times, and I'll say IP SSH timeout. The number of time an SSH session is supposed to be idle before it times out. If it finds it idle for a period of time, it has to time out that session and you have to re-authenticate. So let's say 60 minutes. 60 seconds in this case, sorry. So 60 seconds. If it finds you idle in 60 seconds, it times you out. But 60 seconds might be too rigid, so let's change it to 120 seconds, which is the default, 120 seconds. So let's say show run, and let's say section SSH, and let's look at our configuration. So take a look, guys. IP SSH retries 2, IP SSH version 2, and transport input what? SSH. This is on the line VTY. Show SSH will show you the same thing I have displayed to you on the test PC. So thank you guys for your time. We'll be coming to you with more videos as time goes on. Bye for now.